strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on September 28th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 37, 43, 44, 45, and 53. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 37 was green, the 43 was blue, the 44 was green, the 45 was blue, and the 53 was orange. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 37 and 44 were green, the 43 and 45 were blue, and the 53 was orange. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 green, 2 blue, and an orange for 3 colors total. Now up here, I'm going to make this 369. And this is how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. So out of 369 drawings, a 3-color combination has now come up 194 times. Okay, so I want you to do some quick math here. If you could divide 194 into 369, you're going to see that a 3-color combination comes up more than half the time, okay? And to me, that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3-color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch, okay? So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, so I'm going to start with the 37, the 43, 44, 45, and 53. The next line down is the 1, 9, 22, 36, 68. And the last line is 14, 19, 39, 47, and 51. So again, I'm going to make these red. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many numbers I have on the game card. So I got 4 and 5 is 9, 2 is 11, and 4 is 15. So up here I'm going to make this 15. This tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start with the 11, the 27, 31, 36 is already taken, 67. The next line down is the 6, 17, 24, 53 is already taken, 57. The next line down is the 11, which is taken, so the 20, 41, 42, 56. And the last line is 4, 8, 30, 52, and 59. So again, I'm going to make these orange, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2, and 5 is 7, 3 is 10, 2 is 12, 1 is 13, and 4 is 17. So up here I'm going to make this 17, okay? So I think you get the gist of things of how I came up with the colors for my game card. So what I'm going to do is just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right here. And this is the new game card for September 28, 2019. You can see that there was 15 red numbers, 17 orange, turned out to be 11 green, 11 blue, and 15 purple numbers, okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy here is correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 369 drawings, okay? So it does come up, but it's very rare, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group I don't believe is going to come up. And to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So basically, I use these 50-50 picks kind of as a roadmap to help me get to the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here. So I'm going to change this to 415 drawings that I kept track of, okay? And this basically goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So I'm going to go back to the game card. So there was an odd number, odd, even, odd, odd. So there's 4 odd numbers and 1 even number. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this because it won the majority. And I'm going to bring this back to black here. Okay, so I'm going to make this 218. So out of 415 drawings, 218 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 197 drawings have been the majority of even numbers, okay? So again, I like to break things down into every 5, just so it shows me that majority. So out of this 5 drawings here, the majority was odd numbers, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, so I'm just going to make this red here. Okay, so now I go back into the history of things and I try to correctly guess what's going to happen here, okay? So I'm going to guess that the odds are still going to stay hot here. So I'm going to say that more odd numbers are going to come up than evens, okay? So I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. Okay, so the next one I'm going to go to is high and low here. So all the numbers in red are considered high numbers. All the ones in blue are considered low. Okay, so looking at this, you can see that the left-hand side is pretty sparse over here. So I'm going to say that more numbers are going to go to the high side than the low side. Okay, so when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking here in the blue area to eliminate numbers. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down as well. I think there's going to be more numbers to the high side than the low side. Okay, so this next one here is left and right. Now, I had a hard time trying to guess what's going to happen here, so I'm going to leave this one alone, okay? I don't have to pick at every single one of them, okay? So it's more of a gut feeling of what you think is going to happen. Okay, so here, this red and blue area, it's pretty sparse over here to the left side, so I'm going to say that more numbers are going to be in this red area than the blue area. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. More to the red than the blue. Okay, so making my decision here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no green numbers. Okay, so again, I thought more numbers in this red area here. So there's only 4. And there's a bunch more green numbers here in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all these green numbers. And hopefully none of these green numbers come up. Okay, so I'm going to block these out. Okay, so when I block out numbers like that, this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these green numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these green numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only one with 9 numbers, where the other 6 have 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you can see that the numbers are right here. The 37 is green, the 43 is blue. Okay, so if you follow this plane, you can see that I made a green mark here on the 37. Okay, so I did that because the 37 is green. All right, now the 37 is green because the color code said it was green. All right, so this hit 3 out of the 7 groups. Okay, so 4 of these groups did not have a winning Powerball number to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so again, you can see that I broke this down into 7 different groups. All right, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction here, and my prediction is that no numbers of 1 through 9 are going to come up. Okay, so again, I think more numbers to the high side for one reason is why I'm picking this. And then when I go back into the history of things, you can see that it's the 1 through 9 has been pretty hot. Okay, so I think it's time to cool off. Hopefully it will. Okay, so how you read this is this square, this big square, is good for 5 drawings. Okay. Now, the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. One is when I go back into the history, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay. But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings. Okay. So again, this 1 through 9 has been really, really hot. So I'm going to predict that it's going to cool off, and I'm going to get rid of the 1 through 9 numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to find those numbers of 1 through 9. And I'm going to block those out, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did here is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different color groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball lands within these color groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so again, the winning Powerball numbers were the 37. There's here in the green, 43, 44 is in the orange, 45 is in the green, and the 53 is also in the green as well. Okay, so I had no winning Powerball numbers in the red area, no winning Powerball numbers in the blue, 2 in the orange, and 3 in the green. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. If I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers are going to come up in the last drawing, I could have gotten rid of all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where these zeros are going to be. So I have 15 of these option cards. So here's option card number 1. And they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this option card number 1 here. And I'm going to predict that no blue numbers are going to come up, okay? So the reason why I'm picking this, and the thing about my game is that we're all going to look at this differently, okay? So we're all going to come up with a different result, okay? But for me, why I'm picking this is you can see these zeros, they double up, sometimes even triple up or quadruple up, okay? So here in this blue area, there's 10 single zeros here, okay? So I'm hoping that it's time to double up here, all right? So I'm hoping that the next zero is going to be right here in this blue area. So I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers off of my game card. Okay, so hopefully none of these numbers come up because I just got rid of them. Okay, so another thing too is with my game card here, you can see that there's 5 numbers off here to the left side. When I go back to group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here. Okay. So what I wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in the lottery, okay? So I had to group I had to pair a couple of these squares up, like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 with the 68. Okay, so this is just my way of grouping up numbers. Okay, so if I get rid of all these blue numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all these other numbers as well as a group. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, and the next one I'm going to pick is this option card number 2, no green numbers. Okay, so again, I told you that these zeros, sometimes they double up or even triple up, okay? Like right here or even a lot more, okay? So in this green area, this has only happened once, okay? So as I scroll down here, right here is the only time that this has happened, okay? Now as I look at the other columns here, you can see that it's, well, here's one in the blue. Okay, here's another one in the blue. Okay, one over here in the red, one here in the orange. Here's another one in the red. Here's another one in the orange, okay? So again, you know, the red and blue area and the orange have had this happen multiple times, and this time it's only happened once in the green. So I'm hoping that it's due to happen. So I'm hoping that the 0 will be right here, and I'm going to get rid of all these green numbers here off of my game card. So I'll get rid of these numbers, and hopefully they do not come up, okay? So moving on to the next one I'm going to pick. And that's option card number 7, no green numbers. So the reason why I'm picking this one is because these green numbers have hit 41 drawings in a row, which is a record. The last record was 33, okay? So I'm hoping that it's time to miss, and I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of all these green numbers. So it's the 4 corners. I know I don't have to worry about this. All the numbers are gone, so it's the middle. This pattern here and this pattern here. So again, the 19 shares the square with the 67, so I'll get rid of that. The 58 and the 68 and the 53 and 69, so I'll get rid of the 45 as well. And hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so moving on to the last one I'm going to pick. And this is option card number 10, no blue numbers. Okay, so you can see that it says no 3 here. Okay, so what that means is that there's never been 3 zeros in a row here in this blue area. Okay, so another reason why I'm picking this one is because this has hit 18 single zeros in a row here, so I'm hoping that it's due to have the 0 here, and then the next drawing after that have another 0. Okay, so that's what I'm hoping for. So I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers, which is this pattern right here for all 4 squares. Okay, so I'll get rid of the 28, the 36, 42, 46, and 54. Hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so I'm getting down there, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, so except with this one, I know that since there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 8 different color groups here, I know that 3 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this real quick. Okay, so again, the winning numbers were 37, 43, 44, 45, and 53. So I had 1 orange, 1 green, and 3 purple numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go down to current down here. So there was no winning Powerball numbers in the red area, no winning Powerball numbers in the blue, 1 in the orange, 1 in the green, 3 in the purple, no winning Powerball numbers in the brown area, no winning Powerball numbers in the gray, and no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow area. So how many color groups did it hit? It hit 1, 2, and 3, so I'm going to write that down. Now the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side, so I'm going to make this 3 green. Okay, so so if I'm looking at this 3 up here for some reason, okay, and I see that it's red, well, I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side, okay? So here you can see that I made this yellow, okay? That's because there was 2 hits, 2 misses, all right? So again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me the majority. So here the majority is misses, 3 zeros, so I'm going to color the background blue for cold. Okay, so this was hot, so I'm going to color the background red for hot, and this one for cold. Okay, so the reason why I do that is for situations like this where I see that it's been really, really hot right through here. Well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So my first guess here is I'm going to guess that no yellow numbers are going to come up, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to eliminate all these yellow numbers off of my game card. Runs from the 66 down to the 64. And you can see that there's nothing here, okay? So here's the thing with my group 2 numbers here, okay? I have 15 of these option cards as well. And it has the same colors, red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow, okay? It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So, what I was saying here is, again, there's 15 option cards, and I keep track of these things, and I keep an average, okay? So the average for all 15 option cards runs from 3.8 to 4.2, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is, what I'm trying to tell you is that out of these option cards, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, again, on average, okay? So I picked yellow. There was nothing to get rid of. So instead of coming back here, let's just say that I made the correct guess here, okay? And no yellow numbers came up. If I go back to this option card and I pick another group here, like this orange, okay? The odds of me getting it correct go way, way up, especially after I got this yellow one correct, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again, okay? So here with option card number 2, I'm going to go with the orange. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the orange numbers off of my game card. And that runs from the 17 to the 24. So I'll get rid of the 17 and the 20. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay. So moving on to option card 3. I am going to go with brown. So here's the brown. And as I scroll down through, you can see things got pretty hot down through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown. And that's the 5 to the 29 and the 34 to the 68. And you can see there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on to the next one. 4, I'm going to go with green. So as I scroll down through, you can see things got pretty hot down through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 29 to the 32, the 57 to the 60. So I'll get rid of that 57. Hopefully that number does not come up. Okay, so moving on to 5. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. And as I scroll down through, things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. This is that circle right here. So I'll get rid of the 26 and 27. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to 6. I'm going to go with yellow. So here's the yellow over here. You can see things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And it's the 2, 9, 18, 65 all the way down. So again, the 25 shares the square with the 65. And I'm going to get rid of this 41 as well. Okay, so moving on to 7. I'm going to go with yellow. So here's the yellow again. So you can see things got pretty hot here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And it runs from the 17, 26, 67, 28 all the way across. And you can see there's nothing to get rid of. So I'm going to move on to the next one. And I'm going with blue for this option card number 8. So things got pretty hot through here. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 6, 15, 22, 32 all the way down. So I'll get rid of that 38. Hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to 9. I'm going to go with brown again. So here's the brown. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And it's the 920 pattern on the left side, 631 on the right side. So I'll get rid of the 52. Hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to 10, I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue. Kind of got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the pattern of 267 all the way around. So I'll get rid of the 51. Okay, so moving on to option card 11. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. You can see this got really, really hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 6, 14, 17, 65, 35, 43, 56, 64. So the only one left is that 43. Okay, so moving on to option card number 12. I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. So things got pretty hot through here. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So it goes from the 5 to the 29 and the 33 to the 57. So I'll get rid of that 33. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers here. So I'm going to go with the 37, 44, 49, 61, and 62. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these. So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 37, 44, 49, 61, and 62. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. Okay, so if these blocked out numbers do not come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so now it comes to, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay, so let's go over the official odds. Okay, the official odds for getting the grand prize, all 5 white ball numbers and the red ball correct, are 1 in 292 million. Okay, my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white balls. I'd love to win the grand prize. Okay, the odds of this are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, so another nice prize would be 4 white balls and a red ball that pays 50,000. Okay, so the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. And you can see the smaller amounts here, the $100 4 white balls or 3 in the red. Plus the power play could be a pretty nice win. Okay, the $7 prize. And if you just get the red ball, that pays $4 plus the power play. Okay. So you can see with the top prizes, the odds are pretty astronomical. Okay. So I just want to go over a budget with you that if you spend $3 per drawing, okay, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay. So I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Okay. So there's 26 red numbers. So over here in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that means low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Okay. Now over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay. So why I do this is because if I see a streak of blue like right here, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so looking at this, I think that this is going to be blue, and I think that this is going to be red. Okay, so I'm looking at a low odd number. Okay, now the 9 hasn't come up in like over 100 drawings, so I'm probably going to go with the 9. Okay, so moving on, in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.